What's going on, everyone? Hope you're all having a great day. Now, last week we got the unfortunate news that Akira Toriyama ended up passing away at the age of 68. Now, I kind of wanted to dedicate this video on really what Dragon Ball meant to me growing up and still does to this day. And if you guys have any stories or anything like that you want to share in the comments below, feel free. If you have anything else you want to say or any stories that you want to share, it would be really cool. And of course, this video is going to be a little unscripted. Usually I like to have a little script in front of me when I'm recording stuff, but this is just going to be completely unscripted. It might be edited down a little bit, but we'll see. Now for me, I didn't really get into Dragon Ball really until I was in middle school. Of course, I knew about it, but it was never something I was really into. Like when I was younger, I was more into Star Wars. I was into Yu-Gi-Oh! For a little bit, I think when 5Ds was coming out. I was into that for a while, and then I think, on Cartoon Network, they stopped airing episodes, so I kind of stopped, watching it. But I remember it was the summer when I was going into 7th grade. And I remember I live kind of on the East Coast, and we don't really get too many hurricane warnings too often, but one, summer day we got a hurricane warning. And I was a big gamer. My dad didn't want me going on my Xbox for the day in case the power went out. And pretty much like any other bored kid, I was on YouTube the whole day until I turned on what was actually Nicktoons, and they had a marathon of Dragon Ball Z going on. And I just kind of started watching, just kind of had a little bit in the background, but I was still watching. And I remember it was kind of the end of the Goku Frieza fight on Namek, and when I started watching it, I pretty much got hooked. And the marathon pretty much went from the end of the Goku Frieza fight, which I think was pretty much when they summoned Purunga. I think is where it kind of left off after that, up until where the Z Fighters got completely bodied by 17 and 18. After, Vegeta had his whole arm scene where, his arm got broken, so it was kind of that part. So it was a good chunk, so it was kind of the end of the Frieza saga into pretty much the real nitty-gritty of kind of the Android saga. And pretty much after that, I was completely hooked. But the problem was, of course, with Nicktoons was they didn't really have any of the newer episodes out. That was all the episodes they had left, so every single week I was pretty much waiting for them to add, new episodes, watch the new episode every week. And I had no clue about the series. I didn't have any spoilers or anything like that. So, I was watching completely fresh, And of course, I think it was a really impactful time for me, because I think middle school, if you're from, the Europe or, UK, it's, grades pretty much 6, 7, 8. So probably around, 13 to 15 years old. That you go through a lot of your growing pains, where you try to really find yourself, where you, kind of start becoming the person who you're eventually going to be. And, of course, it was kind of a little bit of a rough time growing up. I had a great family and everything, but it was just, of course, the hormones of growing up, how you're just miserable all the time. I hated going to school, because I didn't really have any friends, and all the friends I had were pretty much on my Xbox, who I ended up meeting online. But Dragon Ball for me was kind of my escape from everything, from a terrible day at school, not, having bad grades and everything like that. And Goku, really kind of helped craft the person I kind of am today. How, you do your best, you believe in yourself. And that Goku to me was just kind of a true hero. I always look back and say, if that was me when I was fighting Frieza, I would have just left that guy in the dust. I wouldn't have given him any energy. That Goku just went through his, his life and still continues to do is just pushing himself to his limit. That, he's not really caring about killing people or anything like that. That he just wants to continue to get stronger. And I think kind of relating that to real life, that, we're just trying to, become the person that we're supposed to be, and I think that really impacted me when I was a kid, and it really helped me grow up, and, still to this day, Goku's my hero, that's my GOAT. And I also remember, on Nicktoons, they had, some of the movies as well, I would watch some of those. I remember Fusion Reborn, Wrath of the Dragon. I remember, I think both Broly movies they had, but the funny thing is, I had no clue who, Goten was, because at the time, Nicktoons only had Dragon Ball Z. They didn't have the Buu saga. It ended at the Cell saga. And then eventually I was wait a second, there's something after the Cell saga, because they pretty much only had, Z Kai, which ended at Cell, and then they had GT. And I was oh, well, I mean, who's, Goten? It's or who's Majin Buu? I had no clue who these characters were when I actually started watching GT. So, way back when, probably back in 2013, 2014, they had the entirety of the Buu saga uploaded on YouTube. So when I would come home from school, I would just watch. I would watch all the episodes because they had the whole episodes, which was crazy. I mean, nowadays you'll get like, taken down and copyright strikes for uploading full episodes but no, back then, they had all the episodes for it, and that's how I originally watched the Boo Saga. But another kind of cool thing was I was really into, Call of Duty back then as well. Like I was into like Black Ops 2, like Modern Warfare 2. And I got pretty much all my friends kind of into Dragon Ball, to where we all had like Dragon Ball Z emblems, and like, we were like a clan pulling up in Call of Duty, and like, we were all talking about it. And especially when, Dragon Ball Super, was coming out, it was awesome that, we were all super excited for the episodes. I remember, watching like Geekdom's, spoiler reviews and stuff like that. And like, it was just, when the anime was going on, it was just awesome. And of course, with like, Daima coming out, I think, it's going to be kind of, special that this is kind of Toriyama's last real project. Now, of course, we don't know what's going to happen, moving forward. But I think, we've kind of heard that he was sick for a while. I just think that they would have, some sort of thing in place that either like, a roadmap or like some storyboard material that they're not just going in blind, that I think he might have probably prepared for it. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I would think they probably have it roadmapped, kind of probably to the end of Super. I mean, we'll see what happens after that. I guarantee there's going to be more series. There's going to be more movies. Like, there's an entire, like 4-year gap to fill in between Boo Saga and Battle of Gods, which I think they, could definitely do that. With like either movies or maybe another show or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I remember, of course, some of my fondest memories were watching Dragon Ball Z on Nicktoons, because I wasn't around for the Toonami days, which I know a lot of people were. Like I got into it later. And then eventually I started, kind of reading the manga, and, then I started to really get into some of the games. Like, I loved Xenoverse 2. I remember also, Raging Blast was the first, like, Dragon Ball game that I got. And I remember, I got it. I would play the demo on the Xbox, like a ton before I ended up getting the actual game. And I loved that game so much. And then I got Raging Blast 2, and then, like I said, the Xenoverse games came out. And then I played Dokkan a ton, like I still play it to this day. I played Legends a decent amount as well, but like, and through Dragon Ball, I met a lot of awesome people, like joining Discord servers, for like, Dokkan and Legends and stuff like that. And I've met, some of my best friends, that I still talk to, through Dragon Ball. And I feel like a lot of us, have a really good connection in this community. Now, of course, like, we butt heads and we make stupid remarks and stuff, but at the end of the day, we're all here to celebrate, Toriyama. That we're all here to celebrate the series that we all love. Now, some of us might have some crazy opinions, thinking that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta can, body all of Dragon Ball Super, but, I mean, hey, if you think that, don't come after me. I'm just joking. Maybe he does. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, but not for real, though. But we all come together, and I think that's been really special over this last, week or so, is that a lot of us have just kind of come together. That, instead of arguing about Dokkan units or arguing about which series is the best, like, we all just kind of came together. And I owe a lot to him, that not only was it great entertainment, that we have a great community, that, I met a ton of awesome people, and I guarantee you met a bunch of, some of your friends as well through games or through, forums or anything like that, and with me, the whole, going on, watching the Boo Saga on YouTube. I remember I used to watch these old power level videos too, where, like, there was a lot of them back then, to kind of just gauge some of the power levels and stuff like that. Of course, like, a lot of them were just BS remarks, like, saying, oh, this character's at whatever, this character's at whatever, like, but no, there's just a lot of awesome, memories I have that I'm going to have probably for the rest of my life, that this series has done so much for me, and I'm not going to continue to, not be interested, like, I love this series, like, this is, it's awesome, like, obviously, I want to thank Toriyama for everything that he's done, not only for me, but probably for you guys as well, and probably for the whole community, that we wouldn't be together, if it wasn't for him. And I think that Dragon Ball really kind of helped make anime, I guess, not, like, acceptable is the wrong word, but, like, not, like, looked as down upon. Because I remember when I was back in school, like, if you liked anime or you liked Star Wars or stuff like that, I mean, you were looked at as, like, a nerd or a geek. Like, you were kind of looked down upon. But now it's like, You go to a store and you see people wearing Goku shirts or like Naruto stuff or like Jujutsu Kaisen, like, you know, it's mainstream now that like so many people are interested, and I just feel like Dragon Ball kind of, you know, kind of paved the way for, you know, a lot of mainstream media to, you know, have anime be, you know, as popular as it is. Like I said in the beginning, let me know in the comments if you have any other stories or anything you want to share. You know, I kind of gave my little rundown as well, how much it meant to me, and it still does. But hope you guys stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day. Peace.